Recording. Guys, welcome. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and the Sign and Thrive Notary Training Course and Community. Today is day 3 of the NotaryAssist accounting software training featuring the founder of NotaryAssist, Sue Hope. Hey, Sue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. This is day 3 of an amazing software. You know, you've been around since 2007. I know lots of notaries already know about you. And based on the feedback, there's a lot of notaries that were like me that had never heard of the program before. So I think we're doing some amazing good here and really bringing some value to our audience. So thank you again for putting so much time and energy into this.
Not a problem. Thank you. I appreciate what you do, and I'm excited that we can work together.
Definitely. So real quick, we've got some fresh new faces. I know there's going to be several new people that are going to be on today's call. Can you give us a summary of what NotaryAssist is and does?
So we are, and we provide a service to help you maintain your business, the business side of notary work. So we're a custom-made software specifically for notaries. So we know what you need to keep track of so that you can maximize your deductions at the end of the year. Basically, we're trying to help you keep everything in one place, easy to use, and keep you on top of the business aspect of your job so that you can get out there and do what you love, and that's working with the public.
That's awesome. And you were and are a mobile notary and loan signing agent for, I think you said 20 years yesterday, right?
Oh yeah, it's 20 years. Yep. I started when my kids were super young, and it was a great way for me to have control of my time and be home as much as possible, but also be able to contribute to our family and our growing family. And there's always those little things that come up, and you need to be able to have some extra money to help take care of things. So it was a great fit for me. I was able to be home with my kids, but also help in the evenings take care of the public and what they needed. And it just worked really well. So I kind of understand and I appreciate what everybody out there is going through. And so from my experience working out there, and we just put together a program that would actually make your life hopefully as easy as possible.
I love that. And, you know, there's so many aspects of this business that I love. I talk about that all the time. I love the flexibility. I love that there's no limit to how much we can make. It really can be any business we want in a legitimate industry. We have a real valuable role that we provide to the public. And to have programs like this that help keep us organized and efficient in what, like for me, this is the unfun part, right? The invoicing, the bookkeeping, all that stuff, and the tax management. So the fact that this makes it easier, I just love, and I really thank you for bringing that to us. Today is day 3. What are we talking about?
Today, we have now spent time just getting started, signing up, getting the free trial, because we actually offer a free trial for 30 days or 20 new appointments, no credit card needed. So you can actually get in and try this software, your professional software for your professional business. And I think that's what we're trying to get across, is that you out there are professionals, and you need to be able to run your business professionally to succeed. So that's what we're trying to bring to you. And we've personalized it for what you need, because everyone out there is different. And now today we're going to actually get started. We're going to actually start using the database features. We're going to start adding our customers. That's who pays us. And we're also going to add our expenses and show you how to put the information in that you actually have to keep track of. How much does it cost you to run this business? And we're going to show you how to enter that and enter your customers. And then tomorrow we'll get into actually adding the appointments and how can we manipulate the software for your needs.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. All right, you ready to jump in?
I'm ready to jump in. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me see if I can get my share going. All righty, so let me get on. Where's my thing? Okay, oh, that's my Zoom. Where are you?
No pressure, but we're all scared.
Share. I'm going to hop over here.
All right.
So you should see NotaryAssist. Again, this is the dashboard and where you're going to land every time you sign in. So I don't know if you can see. I've got a little list of all my peeps on the side here. Can you see the upper right-hand corner where it says My Account?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Right next to it is this little box that has an arrow that points to the right. That's where you can actually sign out. So if you hover over your mouse, you can sign out, and that takes you to the sign-in screen. So if you ever need to get in or out, we keep you open as long as you want to stay open, but you can come in and out. So I just wanted to show you that button. I hadn't showed you that yet. So, and then of course, this is the collapse menu that we talked about yesterday to maximize your viewing screen, and you can open and close that. The navigation bar is how we navigate around the entire application. So today, we are going to actually move into customers. So we're going to click on customers, and you have a drop-down box that's going to say view customers and new customers. So we're going to actually click on the view customers tab, and that's going to take us into the database. Now for you, it's going to be empty until you start adding in your customers, the people that pay you money, people that you do business with. So Jane Notary has a couple in here that she's already done work for, and we tried to have some of these signing services that are throughout the good old United States. So for example, Amrock, I'm sure you guys have heard of them. We've added Amrock, and to see Amrock, we're going to click on the company name. That's going to pull up this data entry sheet, and that's going to show all the information that I have inputted for Amrock. So we have their address where we might be sending invoices to. Now I know Amrock has a completely different thing, but just in case you needed to send them a letter or any kind of correspondence, we're going to have their information here, their phone number, their fax number, and their website. Now the one thing I like a lot about what we do is we give you more information than just your basics. So if we click on contacts, these are going to be your escrow officers who work at Amrock. So you can actually talk to directly to the people that assign you the work. Now I'm talking specifically, Amrock is a big signing service, and they do loan signings. So this is going to be if you're doing a loan signing, this particular customer, and you can add as many different contacts that you have at Amrock, because Derek might have assigned you one, but then you're going to get one from Betty. And you need to add Betty's direct cell phone number, contact number, email address, and you can add as many new contacts as you need. Okay? So there's no limit to the number of people that you might need to talk to or correspond with. Some of these companies are huge, and you might have 50 or 60 contacts that you're dealing with. So we don't limit you on any of that. The next feature over here is going to be your notes. Now this is where you can keep track of notes for your information. This doesn't go on any invoice. This doesn't go on anything in particular. But for example, you can say, 5-star company, I want to take this assignment at 5 o'clock on Friday because they pay me and they're fantastic and they have their stuff together. They don't keep me waiting on docs. You can put little notes in here that say, okay, I'm not taking that appointment at 5 o'clock because I'm not going to get to that appointment until 10 o'clock at night by the time they get their stuff together. You can make these little notes to help you remember who your good and or bad customers are. And this just helps you keep track of who you're working with. If I come back here to contacts, we're just tabbing across. You want to make sure you always have an email address, and this is where we pull the information for your invoice. So we're going to invoice Derek, and this is where Derek wants to have his stuff sent. So we always send it to Derek. I always encourage you to make sure you have an email address and that it's working. Test your email, double check when you're entering it, and then save your information. The other thing with a big company like an Amrock is you might work with Derek for 90% of the information, but when you go to send your invoice, you have to send it to accounts payable. So you might need to create a contact that's accounting. And you can create the accounting contact. It does not necessarily a specific person, and then put their accounting email address in there and then save. Now that feature will help you out when we get to invoicing. But we're going to add a new contact now. We just got a phone call. We're going to add a new customer right now. So we're going to click on Add Customer. It's going to bring open the exact same box that we just had. It's going to ask you all the information, and the only thing that we require is who's calling you. Now, this could be a contact for a wedding. This could be a contact for general notary work, a prison, a nursing home. Whomever calls you to schedule an appointment, you're going to put this in here so that you can keep track of your customers. You might also want to, just because they contacted you, it doesn't mean that they're actually going to pay you. They might be the liaison. So you want to keep that information in your customers, because you can always run a customer report later and keep like a CRM kind of information so you can contact them down the road. Does that answer that question? So we're going to kind of put in here, let's say this is Tom Jones, because you're going to do general notary work for Tom. He's your neighbor. He's going to be right next door. And I'm just trying to type this in really quick, and that can be in Rancho Santa Margarita or wherever you are, and you're going to hit the save button. And it'll add Tom Jones here to the top. Okay? It will sort them into alphabetical order for you. The links on the far side where it says website are a link. So you can actually click on the link and go to their website. So let's say for any reason you have to go in to their specific system and upload completion docs or anything like that. You can quickly do it from inside of NotaryAssist and log into your account potentially with any of these other signing companies as well. So we try to give you a quick link here as well. So we'll also give you a total over here on the far side of how many customers you have, how many of them are active, and how many of them are inactive. Why do I do that? So you can actually say, I don't really want to do a lot of business with Tom Jones anymore, but he paid me, so I need to keep track of him in my database. But I'm going to mark him inactive so he doesn't drop into my drop-down list, so I don't ever have to find him. You know, I don't have to go past him to find who I'm looking for. So you can mark any of these inactive, and it'll save the fact that you've done business with them in the past, but you're not doing any business with them moving forward, so that when you have to go and select a customer for a specific signing, they're not clogging up your drop-down box of customers. And you can always reactivate them at any time by just deselecting them. This X all the way at the end here, it's kind of hidden, and that's by design, is your delete button. It'll ask you, do you want to delete this? And when you say, yes, please delete customer, that is a final, finite decision. So make sure that's what you want to do, and then you can delete it, and then Tom Jones is gone. But if you delete a customer that you've been paid for in the past, when you run a report for money, for income, and if that customer is gone, that income is just going to be kind of floating out there. It'll show that you got paid, but it won't be able to show by who. So you'll have like miscellaneous income. So we try to hide that because we'd rather have you deactivate them than delete them if you've ever received payment. You can always print out a list of your customers if you wish. We have a print feature here, and it'll break down this information for you should you ever need to print it out. We give you that functionality to do so. We give you many different ways to enter in a customer at any time, or actually any kind of data. We give you multiple different directions of how you can add it in. So the new customer is the exact same button as this button right here. So if you wanted to just drop in a customer, you can go straight to new customer without opening the view customers page. So we're trying to minimize clicks for you. We're trying to be very understanding that once you know where things are, you can go straight to those without having to open up other fields to get there. So again, trying to streamline your experience inside the software. And then again, you can add your company, your contact email, and your notes, and save. Does anybody have any questions about customers at this time and how we add them?
So that was great, and I love how efficient this is. We do have some questions. I'm not necessarily totally positive that they apply to this, but there is one in particular that maybe you can help answer here.
Okay.
Especially for signing companies, as we're adding them in here. You know, a lot of, Joan asked the question, for a lot of signing companies, we don't actually have to supply an invoice. So as
Correct.
you're setting them up as a customer, what do you recommend?
So even though you're not going to necessarily actually physically send them an invoice, you're going to receive a payment from them. So you want to put them into your customer contact list so that you can keep track of the money that you receive. And then when we get to reporting, you're going to see how many customers paid you X amount during a set amount of time. So it helps you see who some of your better customers are versus your one-offs.
So like for me, like when I was in this situation, I would go ahead and generate an invoice. I just didn't send it to them. I just sent it to a dead email or not an email at all and marked it as sent. Is that kind of how this would work too?
Correct. So we're going to be able to, you don't even have to generate it. I'm going to actually hop into signings real quick just so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. So if you go into the signings, and we're going to get into this more tomorrow, but this is kind of a preview. And if you go to view signings, it'll load the signings data page and it'll ask you what day you sent it. For me, and this is Jane, and I just kind of do it for Jane, I always put my invoice sent date as the date that I did the signing, whether or not I've actually generated an invoice. So right here, you can see that there's a button that says create. But I know Notary Pro does not need me to send an invoice. I've just created it. I can create it, I can send it, but I'm not actually going to actually mail it out. So when I receive payment, I can just mark it paid without ever having to send it.
Nice.
And that's more for you. That's for you to have the ability to track it moving forward and how many days. If you actually send, if you take the time to put an invoice sent date in there, Notary Assist will start counting from this sent date to when you actually receive payment. So that'll help you keep track of how many days past due you are. If that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, beautiful. I think that answers the question. Joan, if you need any follow-up on that, feel free to add another question to the chat window there.
Absolutely. So
awesome.
We try to do everything in the same layout and in the same format so that it's consistent. So once you learn how we ask our questions, that's consistent throughout the software. And so the reason I recommend you start with your customers is it just helps you get used to the look and the feel of our software, but also it adds your customers in there so that when you're creating a signing, and here I'm going to give you another quick preview. If we're adding a signing, if I click add a signing, over customer list is, it builds it out for you. So you can select who are you going to use for this next appointment. So if you spend the time building out your customer data, it shows up right here.
Nice.
And then also, we also gave you a quick feature of if you're just wanting to add a signing and it's a brand new customer, you can also add it on the fly right here. So you don't have to actually go into, you don't actually have to go over to the menu, into customers, into view customers, and add a new customer. So we try to give you shortcuts throughout the software program.
Yeah, that's super efficient. I love that. We have another question from John about the customers. Is there any way to set up reminders for follow-up or even a reminder for an appointment?
We don't have reminders yet, but when you push your information to your calendar, what we would recommend you do is, because you can use your smartphone and you can set reminders, or you can tell it to chime you in so much time, you can modify it on your smart device. So the smart device gives you that functionality. It's just not here inside the desktop.
Wonderful, thank you.
Sure. Are we ready to move on from customers to expenses? Expenses are a little bit bigger. Customers are pretty straightforward.
Give me 1 second because we do have some questions here.
You got it.
Let's clarify because Audrey asked a question. I did my best to answer in the chat window, but she's just saying, are you saying that invoices, you can't issue an invoice via email? So we just need to clarify that for people who may have missed that. And
Yes, you can definitely send an email to any customer that you set up inside the system. So if I go into view customers, we're in view customers right now. As long as you set up, we're going to add a customer. As long as you set up a customer, let's put Tom Smith in there again. Or maybe it was Tom Jones before, but I don't remember. As long as you add a contact, now, because on this page, we don't have email address. See how we don't have email address here? We actually make you put it in under contacts. And this is where, and you don't even have to put a name here. You can just put Tom Smith at Gmail. And this is where we pull our email address from. So if you need to email an invoice, this is where we pull it from. So as long as you have an email address, we can create an invoice and send an invoice to Tom Smith from inside of NotaryAssist. It doesn't matter what customer. So like Timo's title doesn't necessarily require you to send an invoice. They do their own internal billing. You just have to fulfill their form in their website. So that's why we give you this link, so you can actually go into there from NotaryAssist and finish whatever you need to do. So you can actually click on their website to get you into their application. But you don't necessarily have to physically send them an invoice. You can actually just mark them as you sent the invoice, but you didn't actually physically hit email or send.
Perfect. Yeah, and just to clarify that a little bit further too, Audrey, when we were saying that you could generate an invoice without sending it, that's because some signing companies, like Sue just said, you don't have to send, but you still want your own internal tracking service. So if you're not getting paid, you have this is part of your report in your tracking system.
Correct. And we just help you keep track of that. Even though you don't physically send one, you have an appointment and you want to receive payment for that appointment.
Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. And then Peggy asked a question that kind of piggybacks on yesterday's training about the field inspections and how if you do field inspections or any other services, you could use this software for that as well, right?
That's what's so fun about NotaryAssist. It's not bound. It's not tied down to just notary work. So if you're out there doing different appointments and you're out there in your car and you're meeting somebody or you're doing a service, you can add that customer, and you can even, like Tom Smith, let's say if I need to edit, that's something I probably should have told you. If you need to edit anything, by the way, you just click on the name of the company and it pulls open that data sheet. So you can actually put Tom Smith and you can say that this is something other than notary work. You can put that it's appraisals. You can put whatever it is, whatever you want, wedding. You can mark it down whatever you want, and that's for your internal billing. So you can actually see, oh, Tom Smith, I did a wedding for him. Becky Jones, I did a wedding for her. You can keep all this information and generate invoices, send everything out just like the notary fields would, and do the same thing and get the same return.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it, Sue. That's so simple and so flexible. I think we're ready for expenses. I know there's a few people waiting for this.
Perfect. So to get to expenses, ta-da, same thing. You're just going to navigate right over here, go to the dollar sign, and click on expenses. And to view expenses, we have a few in here. Now, we have, when we talked about the settings and in the expense types, that was under notary fees, we have expense types. We are going to pre-populate our expense categories with these categories right here. Okay, but like we said the other day, you can add any expense type that you need for your particular business. And you just add it there and it will be reflected in expenses. So if I go to view expenses and I want to add a new expense, I can either add it here under new, or I can add it under here. It takes me to the exact same place. So you, wherever it's most comfortable for you, you're going to come here. So the payee is who you're going to pay. So I'm going to pay Staples. I pay them a lot. They pop up even, and we try to do fast typing keys. So we keep a record of your payees so that as you type it in, we'll try and help you autofill it. Again, saving you a couple of keystrokes, but it saves you time. Category. Now here's your category of expense types. They're going to be all listed down here. And this is where I was telling you, you can add whatever you would like so that it's reflected down in here. Mine is going to be supplies and materials. Today I bought pens and paper. And the amount I spent was $55.23.
Some nice pens.
Now, it'll drop that in for the date that I went to Staples. It automatically defaults to today's date. But let's say, oh my goodness, I didn't go there today. I went there a week ago. You can just modify it and save, and it'll drop it back into its date order. So it's very easy to use, very handy, and you can just drop it in there. Now we have this nice little button. This is a feature we added, I think a year or two ago actually, and it's the recurring expense. And that helps you add something that you do all the time. So if you are renting office space, if you are renting a space for a printer, because you pay for a high-end printer and you rent that printer. If it's a recurring expense that you have every single month, you can add it here. Now, the cool thing is that we don't pull money from your bank, so you can just set it up so that you can have it automatically drop in for as long as you want, starting whenever you want, because it can go back and it can go forward, which is awesome. Versus a lot of the banking applications that only let you go start moving forward. So let's say I rent a printer, and it's going to be Print Pro or something. And it's a monthly expense, and I'm going to have it start on January 1, because I signed my contract for this printing company on January 1st. Is it going to go forever? Yes or no? I'm going to say no, because I don't want it to go quite that long, but I signed a contract until January 1st of 2020. And so it'll say, okay, my payee is Print Pro. My category, again, we're going to go up here and we're going to go to printing and reproduction, details, and I'm just going to say rent for rent for high-end printing, and my cost for this is $50 a month, okay? I'm gonna hit save, and it's gonna ask me, do you want me to put it in for all these months that you haven't done it yet? I love this, especially on April 14th. And I say, yes, apply. But if I've added any at all, I'll say no, and I'll add it myself. So it gives you, yes, save them, or no, I'll drop them in. I wanna apply. It's going to take it all, and look, here's my Print Pro. It was on 7/1. It's going to be on 6/1. It's going to be on 5/1. It's going to be on 4/1, and etc. So this is a fantastic thing that it just helps you. If you take the time to set it up, it'll help you do it moving forward. And what I even recommend to people is, if you know you're spending approximately $100 a month on paper, you can put $100 a month on paper and then go back and edit it. You can have this go in to Print Pro every single month, but you can change this amount and hit save, because you might have a month where you did more work, but at least it holds the placeholder and it helps remind you at tax time that, oh, I've got to go back and look at my receipts and make sure that these are right.
Beautiful. And we've got a question kind of pertaining especially exactly to this right now. Is there any integration right now with maybe a business bank account or anything? So every time you used your business debit card or credit card, it would automatically load into this?
We do not, that's what we were touching base on the other day. We do not have any open push yet right now. We're hoping to have that in the future, but there's also a little bit of there's actually a lot of coding that has to go on too, because we have to figure out how to get you to approve what's going to be pushed, because you probably don't want everything pushed. There's only certain expenses that you want pushed in. So we have to figure out how to bridge the gap between, let's say, Chase and Notary Assist. And you might not want everything on Chase. You might want everything. You might say yes to all, but you also might want to be able to tick the boxes for specific expenses. So we're working on, can we make that happen with all of the protective laws and everything that are out there, especially when it comes from banking. Pushing is better than pulling, which is great. So that's a good thing in our favor, but we also have to try and figure out how to make it simple and easy to use. That's what our key is at Notary Assist. We want to make it super easy, and we just have to solve some of those problems and make sure it doesn't we don't want to add cost. We want to really try and keep it at a price point where I think our customers are happy.
Wonderful. And then Linda asked about this recurring expense you just showed us. If you end up changing the dollar amount on one of those recurring expenses, is it just for that one expense, or will it translate to the previous months?
So if you come in and click on, this is the expense for July, and we have it set up for $50. If we change it to, let's say, $90 for July, because I did more, and hit save, I'm going to move my little, I want to make sure if we come down to 6.1, it stays the same. It only edits the one that you need. So the recurring expense is set up at the very beginning, and you tell it what you're expecting it to be. And then if you have to edit one down the road because something happened, you can edit that one expense and it'll hold it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Sue, I just got a special request. We've got another special guest who's popping in who wants to speak of you and her relationship with you. Barbara and Carol Ray are on the line. Do you mind?
Yay!
Do you mind if they jump in and pop in?
Of course, come on in. The more the merrier.
Carol, are you there?
I am. I had a hard time getting in, but we're both here.
Awesome.
I just want to say, first of all, we just love Sue and her whole team. And everybody knows, I think, that before Notary to Pro, I started out as a notary signing agent. And I think that we were among the very first people to use Notary Assist. I had tried everything, Excel, QuickBooks, you name it. When we got Notary Assist, it changed my life.
Aww.
And back then, it wasn't nearly as sophisticated as it is now. They've added so much to it. But I endorse them wholeheartedly. And the changes that they've made over the years since we used the program is just amazing. So I just wanted to let everybody know that if you're right on the border of using this program, it is so worth it, and it will change your life. It really will. It just takes the work out of so many things that you do every day.
And I wanted
oh my gosh, we love you.
And I wanted to add too, because I was talking to Sue about something, that it is very adaptable to do, not just for notary stuff, but other items as well. So enjoy. We love you, Sue. We love you, Bill. I'm going to sign off. Mom will take it from here.
Thanks a lot, Barbara.
Well, I'm done. I just wanted to get on here and just express how I feel.
Oh my gosh, we love you, Carol. You've been so wonderful for our company, and we are just so happy to have a relationship with you. And you are so fantastic and so supportive, and such a crucial part of educating and helping notaries feel confident. And I'm just so happy to work with you and have friendship with you and have known you for so long.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm only as good as the rest of us are with the people that we work with. So you guys have a great 4th. And Bill, thank you so much for these things that you're doing. And we'll talk to y'all later.
All right, Carol. Thanks for popping in.
Carol.
Appreciate it. All right. See you guys. All right.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, always nice to see them. Sorry to get you off track for a good thing, but
Never. I'll take that anytime. That's a beautiful thing.
yeah, it is. Let's jump in.
Okay, so as far as expenses, it's nice to edit. Now I'm gonna move my little. Sorry, I keep moving stuff around because my screen's real big. So on all of our screens, whether you're going to customers or expenses, we usually have all these boxes that help you, and these are filter boxes. So for example, I'm looking at only 2019, and this is what we default to as this year every time you open it. But you can do a custom sort. You can go back to every year that you had. You can even pre-start things for the next year coming up, knowing if you have something that's going to start happening on a certain day in the future. So we do give you an opportunity to customize so much. These are all of our filters. So by default, like I said, we're going to default to this year. And by default, it's going to have all categories. But let's say you need to run a report to see how much money did I spend on printing and reproduction. I can get rid of everything else on the screen and just focus on what I've spent so far on printing and reproduction. And here's where that'll show Audrey that it's the same amount and we just edited it for the 1 month.
Nice. All right.
And then it totals it for you. It'll give you a total expense of how much that you spent. And so you can get an idea of where's my money going and what am I spending money on? And am I getting a return on my investment in whatever I'm working on? So I highly encourage the notaries that are, or notaries or anybody that's using our system to just get involved and just put as much information in here as you can, even if it's not necessarily a quote unquote expensable deduction. So for example, Jane's got her automobile expense. This is her car payment. Now, depending on how you do your taxes based on your tax professional, what's wonderful is we give you an opportunity to put everything in here so that you can take all the data to your tax professionals and then they can do the math for you and they can say, yeah, you should depreciate your car, or no, you should take the mileage deduction with the 58 cents per mile. It gives you the opportunity to have as much information and give your tax professional that information to give you the best possible outcome moving forward.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing that I learned that opened my mind was how much of your life can be tax deductible as a mobile notary and loan signing agent. So it's better, rather than kind of qualify it yourself when you don't have the experience, to just give your tax person all the information they need. Speaking of that, Sue, we actually have some questions about the, not necessarily integration, but whether or not this is TurboTax friendly or QuickBooks friendly or any of that.
We are super friendly.
You are super friendly.
But we don't necessarily export. But the cool thing is if you're doing your own taxes and you're doing TurboTax or H&R Block Online, it's going to ask you the same questions. And we actually total the information that you need. If I come down to reports, and now I'm giving you a sneak peek into later in the week.
Yeah, Fridays.
We have a tax report and we also have a tax summary. And in both of these documents, it gives you the totals that you're going to need. So if you print these two documents out and have them with you when you're doing your tax form, it helps you answer the questions. So it'll ask you what's on your Schedule SE, and it'll give you a number on these two documents. It'll ask you what's your gross Schedule C. We have that, and we call it that so that it's super easy for you to take that information and type in those few boxes. Because honestly, they're only asking for totals, and we're actually giving you the opportunity to put all the information in, which is your backup, and you print everything out so that you keep it by, on your local machine, or print it out and keep it with your tax records for those 7 to 9 years.
Awesome. All right. Love it. Thank you.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, we've actually expanded our reporting out quite a bit, and there's more reports coming because NotaryAssist keeps growing. So we'll bring you more reports as we grow.
Well, that's one thing, when you start getting data, like what you can glean from reports like that, you can start making different decisions for your business. It's really powerful.
Well, and it helps you know which direction to go. Are you spending money in the right places? And sometimes if I go back to the dashboard, some people like to see it in a graph, with numbers or dollars. And then other people like to see it in a pie chart. So we try to give you, okay, I'm spending a ton of money on the automobile expense. Yeah, because I'm wearing and tearing on my car because I'm doing a ton of driving, and not to mention oil changes, tire rotation, brakes, to say stay. But we help you break it down so that you can take all that information and make the best decisions possible.
I love that. Okay, I've got a couple more questions for you. Jason, are you ready to come on live and ask your question?
Yes, I am.
I see your eyeballs.
All right, can you see? My chair is broke. Hi,
That's right.
I have a question. So when it comes to document printing, because I've tried working on this yesterday and entering some stuff, I like to tie my actual printing costs to an actual job assigning. But I see that the function, or I couldn't find one that would do that, as well as the mileage, so I can actually see the profit and loss per signing, if that makes sense.
No, it does. There are options available out there. What I guess we chose to go slightly in a different direction to not get too confusing. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to give you is the overall number at the end of the year, but it's not broken down as little as all the way drilled down to that particular appointment. So what we take is the body of work. So we'll take how much did you make for the entire year, how much did you spend in the entire year, and give you the profit and loss on a broad scale. We haven't drilled it down to actual appointments.
Okay, so if I bought like a case of paper, then I should then view it as a bulk purchase, and then it's going to subtract from my income?
Correct.
Okay.
So we do it kind of up here on a higher level, so that you're basically looking at, okay, this is my body of work. I made this much money from January to March in the first quarter, for example. And then I went to this many trips to Staples, and here's all my receipts. And I had this much in tolls, and I had this much in gas, and take it all and then put all that in there. And you can break it down in the expenses. You can really get nitty gritty in the expenses and break it down by paper, ink. You can break it all down into all different categories for you if you really want to see where your big expenses are coming out. But at the end of the day, the good old government wants to know, how much did you make? What are your expenses? They don't necessarily want to know how much did you make on this particular signing. They want to know what you did in either the quarterlies, if you're paying quarterly, or if you made it if you pay at the end of the year.
Okay, so I understand. This is more towards the government related. Okay, it makes sense. Thank you.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, beautiful. And then Candida asked one more question just about whether or not this, and she calls it an app, but does it sync across devices? So maybe you can clarify how that works.
So our application, it is an application. You're 100% correct. Do we have an app in the App Store for Samsung or in the Apple Store? No, we do not. So we actually just allow you to access it from any device. You just have to go and launch your chosen browser from that device. Now, each platform will allow different things. So Apple works one way, Samsung and Android works differently. But once you launch your chosen browser, go to NotaryAssist. You would just go just like you would on your computer, www.notaryassist.com, or your links, and you just open your link up and you go to the sign-in page. You can actually save. A lot of the browsers will let you drop a link right to your home screen, and we can help walk you through that. We've figured out how to do it on both a tablet, an Android, and Apple. We've figured out the steps to help you turn that on. So you have a little icon that will actually be on your little home screen. So you know how you have a thumbnail that you can drop on your desktop? A lot of the devices will drop one on your home screen as well. And then it's a quick app. So you click on that Notary Assist swoosh, because that's what we have. Our little thumbnail is a little Notary Assist part of our logo. And you click on it, and it'll open it up. And a lot of times you can even pin the sign-in qualifications, your email address and password. And a lot of times, depending on your browser, it'll hold that for you for even quicker access so that it gets you right into your device. And if you make a change on your tablet, it's changed on your desktop, it's changed on your phone. So if you're out and about and you get a phone call and your signing has changed from 4:30 to 6:30, you make that change in your car, you're going to see that when you get home and you're going in to just do updated information at home. You won't have to re-enter that information more than one time.
Beautiful. And then Deborah asks, is there an offline version available if you needed it?
Unfortunately, no. We moved to the online or the cloud-based platform, and that was mostly because the standalone product that we launched back in 2007 that we sold at the conference and until 2015 became so difficult to help maintain and to help give good customer support to, because if you can imagine thousands of machines running the software, but all in different states of updates or other programs on it, and we have no way of controlling that environment. And so NotaryAssist would sometimes struggle, and people would be like, I can't get it to work, I can't get it to open, I can't get it to do this. And we were trying to diagnose every local machine. So what we did is we decided to rebuild it completely online and have it in a controlled, secure, encrypted environment that only we can control, so that you're not, the consumer, the end user, is not inconvenienced by Microsoft pushing out an update or Google pushing out an update. I mean, from time to time, because we are online, we can't control when Safari or Edge is going to do an update, or Google. So some of our things might get out of sync, but we can control it and get it back up and running so much faster than on thousands of individual machines.
All right, makes sense. And it looks like maybe our final question, or the last question I have is, and you tell me if this is better suited for tomorrow's training or this one.
Okay.
But great question came in from Sheila. She says, is it possible to quickly add all of your signings in from like for the rest of the year before this? If somebody were to sign up for the 30-day free trial, how can they catch up the software to match their business for 2019?
Okay, so we're going to do a quick, I can do it quickly. So if I hop into signings, and this will give you a quick preview of what we're doing tomorrow. If I hop into signings and go to view signings, this database, and I'm sorry it's taking a second because we're using stuff. This is what it's going to look like. Yours is going to be blank. When you first sign up and you haven't entered anything in, it's going to default to this year, all customers, all, which is if it's paid, unpaid. This is giving you, again, another filter box specific for signings. But you can go in and you can start to add a signing just like you would any new signing. And if you want to go back, you just arrow back to the date. Now, we are working on making this a field that you can actually type into, because when you've got to go back and arrow back, it gets to be a little tedious, and we know that, so sorry. But you can go back to December, 19th and add a date. You can add a signing for December 19th and hit save, and it'll drop it in for you. And you can just arrow back and manually enter in each signing to get you caught up for the 6 months, 7 months that we're now into 2019. Depending on time, we do have people that hire their kids. Kids are off for summer school, for summer vacation. Have them enter some of your signings.
Data entry clerks, huh?
Data entry clerks. They're super fast, and they do it faster than we do. But I mean, it does take a little bit of time to get caught up. But once you're caught up, then you're ready to go moving forward. And I highly recommend you hop in about once a day for even just 5-10 minutes, just to add a few signings or update a few things. Or if it doesn't work for you to get in every day, once a week or once every other week, and only do 2 weeks worth of data entry versus 6 to 8 months. That's much easier for you. And then it's so much faster at the end of the year. You're going to be running your tax reports in seconds instead of in days.
That's a really good suggestion, because there's no rush to get all the backlog input, because you really don't need it until the end of the year anyway, maybe even past that when you start doing your taxes. So that's a really good suggestion. You can kind of break it into smaller chunks. I love that. Sue, is there
one
anything
little foot in front of the other.
Yeah. Oh, were you going to add anything else on the expenses, or are we wrapping up today?
Nope, that's it. And this is just a preview of what it'll look like in tomorrow's lesson with adding signings. And it'll be really fun. Tomorrow we show you and we continue on with our multiple ways to enter in data so that you can get in, get out, and get on your way. Our whole goal is for you to not be in Notary Assist for hours and painstaking. We don't want that. We want you to be able to hop in, get what you need done, and get out doing what you like to do.
Sue, I love it. Thanks again for a great presentation and in-depth training in a very short amount of time. I know we all really appreciate it. Tomorrow we are on, guys. It is 4th of July, but Sue and I are going to be right here with you if you'd like to join us at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And we're getting down to business. So we are going to go over the signings, adding signings, calendar views, all that good stuff.
Tomorrow. See, I'm ready for tomorrow.
Oh, wow, you just raised the bar. Now I'm going to have to get something to wear. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow at 11. Thank you so much, Sue, for your time and your energy. And for all who are watching, thank you for taking a little time out to grow yourself and your business on a Wednesday afternoon. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.